Smoothie Girl, and I'm at Oasis of Healing in Mesa, Arizona with Brandy. Dr. Lodi has hooked me up with a whole bunch of different therapies here at Oasis of Healing to study and observe what's happening with cancer patients who plug into a lot of different modalities to heal their cancer that doesn't involve cutting, burning, and poisoning. And one of his favorites, I noticed, since every single day he says, have you met Brandy yet? Have you gone to Brandy? Have you had your lymphatic drainage therapy yet? And so finally today, I just had a treatment with Brandy. This is an exciting opportunity because she's going to show us something that I was about to do a video on, and I might have been about to show it wrong because Brandy is an expert in lymphatic health. She used to actually be an ICU nurse.
Correct. Yeah.
And but just so you know a little bit about her, she's beautiful, she's fit, but 9 years ago you were diagnosed with lupus.
Yes.
And you are 4 years past your antibody-free, symptom-free for at least 4 years, yeah?
Yes.
And what were the things that you did that made the biggest difference?
Probably the biggest thing was juicing and changing my diet. For me, I found that the juicing was like getting IV nutrition, getting all of these wonderful, great things in that you just can't possibly eat enough of. So that made the biggest difference. And then following into lymphatic therapy.
So Brandy told me she used to be a meat and potatoes girl.
Seriously, yeah.
And now you're 100% raw.
Yes.
And I said, well, how are you feeling now? What'd you say?
Oh, I feel fantastic. I feel like a whole new person. I have, you know, it's easy to stay fit and be healthy and have energy. It's just, it's different. It's awesome.
Yeah, I think this is the 4th video I've done since this summer. It's November right now, but since this summer, I think I've done 4 videos with folks with lupus saying my symptoms went away when I started to eat raw plant food. So I don't know
Well, for me, like coming from a clinical aspect, lupus is strictly inflammation in the body. It's the body gone haywire. It's the immune system taking control and doing what it wants to. And so the only way that you can really get rid of inflammation is to pay attention to what you're putting in.
Yeah.
So,
right.
yeah.
All diseases are inflammation diseases at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of the side story. Very excited. Brandy's going to show us the correct way to skin brush. I started skin brushing like 20 years ago, and then I fell off the wagon about it because to me it was all about clearing dead skin cells, because what the skin eliminates, like a pound of waste products a day?
The skin does so much, and I'll be really, really quick, but if you look at the skin, like the constituents of sweat, it actually mimics urine. So the skin's like a third kidney, and it really moves a lot of waste. So yes, you are exfoliating, you are clearing off dead skin cells. Your skin regenerates every 28 days. You're helping that process, keeping you beautiful.
But I didn't know that it also clears lymph and gets lymph moving.
It does, because underneath the skin, in that space just below the skin, the space we call the interstitial space, 70% of your lymph is there. So you can, if you're brushing correctly, affect a huge amount of your lymphatic system. Keeping that moving, that'll help keep the internal stuff moving as well, keeping it working the way that it's supposed to, because we don't have a pump. We don't have a mechanism that's going without us thinking, like we breathe without thinking, the heart beats without thinking. Your lymph, it requires a little bit of thought.
Yeah, if you've ever seen lymph, like in a movie or whatever, they show the inside of a lymph duct. It's moving very slowly. So if we can get it, then we have a river rather than a pond. If we can get it moving, and this is going to make a big difference with moving lymph. Yeah.
Yes, and moving toxins and cellulite and helping your skin. It's got a lot of vanity benefits too. So it's
Cool.
Yeah.
So what do we do with it? Do we brush towards the heart?
What we're doing, I'm going to show you, teach you just really quick about watersheds and how the body drains. Because yes, it does ultimately end up above the heart, but it doesn't go there. You're not going to brush straight to the heart. That's not the way that the body actually works. So watersheds, if we take the body, watersheds are little barriers that are within the body where the lymph will flow to it and it drops down. It doesn't cross over. So we're going to work within these barriers in the body, little imaginary lines on the body. So we'll start with, there's one that goes straight down, so right and left don't communicate normally. Typically right and left don't communicate. Your next one, you've got a couple of horizontal watersheds. You've got one, if you put your thumb in your armpits, come across your chest, you've got a horizontal watershed here. So you've got lymph that'll move up this way, and you've got lymph that'll come around. Your next watershed is the last floater rib, the lowest part of your rib cage. You're going to make a belt like around your body with that. So now you've got sections. We're dividing the body into sections. From there, can I stand? I need to stand. Okay, stand up really quick. So you've got one in the groin. Then you're going to follow that around the hip to the tailbone. Okay. And then from there, we're going to go, there's one that's straight down parallel through the legs, out the toes. And there's one in the arm that's going to come from your thumb. If you follow your thumb, excuse me, brush here. Follow your thumb toward your armpit. So we're going to work in each different section. So the way, though, that you start, you're going to be up here around the collarbone. This is where the drains are. You have a thoracic duct and a right subclavian duct. These are what actually dump back into the vascular system above the heart. We're going to stimulate along the collarbone using just circles along the collarbone. And then remember this watershed right here that's just following along the armpit. So this section is going to be brushed up towards the collarbone. That's the way that that drains. From there, this is the place to start. From there, you can really go anywhere you want to in the body. For simplistic sake here, I'm going to start with the arm and I'm going to move down the right side. Right and left, you're going to treat the same way. So top of your hand, remember this watershed that we talked about here. So the top of your hand and arm is going to come up over the shoulder to the collarbone. So you can do brushes in short little sweeps. This is the way I do it. You can move long ones all the way up over to the top. Just try to get at least 3 swipes in each area so that you're stimulating and moving. You're stimulating blood flow, nerves, lymph, everything. You're also working with, going back to vanity, you're also working with the collagen and elastin production in the skin. So those of you that have had real thin skin from steroid damage and medication damage, you can actually change that with skin brushing. You can actually get back the tone and texture in your skin with skin brushing.
So exciting.
That's awesome. So now, from your palm, you're going to come up the arm, and you're coming towards the armpit, and you're going to stop here at the top of the armpit. So palm of hand down to here. From there, when we're looking at the breast, you can brush the breast, of course, but you're going to go from areola out, the nipple out. So you're going to go like a pinwheel. You're going to come around it and out. You're not going to brush straight up and over it because the lymph doesn't work that way. This includes men. It's the same in men. The lymph pattern is the same. So if you want to do that, you can do that. What I found is if you're really working the parasternal nodes and the pectoral nodes over here, that the breast will be free to drain. But this is important when we're looking at incidences of breast cancer out there.
Avoiding breast cancer.
Yes, yeah. So a little bit difficult here to show. So if you're coming up between the breast, parasternal nodes, you're going to come over to the side here. You're going to come around the top of the breast, and you're going to come down here below it. So if we're going back to this watershed here, so we're working, this is the area we're working in, so we're going to come this way, under the breast, over liver, all of this stuff going here, lower lung, all of this. And you're going to bring it up to the armpit. And this is an important piece here because women in particular tend to collect in the armpit. Anything you have, any padded stuff, any gooey stuff, any hard, firm stuff, it's all congested lymph. We don't collect fat in the armpit. It's all congested lymph, so we want to work on that. So making sure when you're brushing that you're not leaving it here, that you're following through and coming all the way up over the top of the armpit. Okay, this is an important thing. So the back, you're going to come around the same as you're doing the front. Bring everything to the side and come up the armpit. Do some following sweeps here to make sure you haven't left anything behind, keeping this open. And if so then from there, this watershed, we're coming back to the waistline. We're actually going to go down. This is different from what you see out there in literature.
It is very different.
So we're going to go down from this waistline watershed. We're going to go down to the groin, and we're going to go all the way around the back and down to the tailbone. Remember this line that we had here, kind of like a panty line. You're going to come around the hip, so everything's going to go down. And then when you're dealing with the legs, you're just going to stay parallel. You're not going to cross inside and outside because of that watershed that goes down the middle. You're going to come from the bottom, come from your feet and move up. Important, again, to follow through to the watershed. So when you're coming up the inside, you're going to go all the way up to the top, to the groin. When you're coming up the outside, don't stop here. Bring it up. Bring it up to the watershed. Back of the leg, over the butt, to the tailbone.
Perfect. These are ubiquitous. You can get these at, like Bed Bath & Beyond, Walmart, whatever.
Everywhere. Everywhere.
And you do it when your skin's dry right before you get in the shower, yes?
Absolutely. Now, if you can't do it in the morning because your schedule says, I just can't throw one more thing in there, do it before bed. You just don't want to have wet skin. You don't want to have lotions, creams, oils. You want to have the day go by and have those absorb in.
That is some of the best information I've gotten the whole time I've been here at Oasis of Healing. Super excited that you did this video with me. Thank you. It's gonna help a lot of people.
You're welcome.
That's really unusual information that we don't know, and how fortunate we are that we're hearing it from somebody who knows a ton about the lymphatic system. So thank you so much for being with us, Brandy.
You're welcome. Thank you.
See you next time.
So you're saying I can ask this cat any question?
The cat is connected to the computer. You just type in the question, it will read his mind. There the answer comes.
You're the man! I've been looking for this for weeks.